Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is January 19th of 2026. So, based on breaking news at events, it appears the CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is basically going to execute a decapitation strike of the United States of America and or its leadership on the evening of January 19th of 2026. So for those of you that are unaware, the CFP championship game between the Indiana Hoosiers and the Miami Hurricanes is slated to transpire in Miami Gardens, Florida on the evening of January 19th of 2026, and it is going to be attended by U.S. President Donald J. Trump. Before I get into the top 10 or so scenarios that are expected this evening, I just really want to quickly highlight the numerology. So the date of January 19th of 2026 is obviously the number 19 equates to letter S, which is an acronym for Switzerland, and which is symbolically a snake that is synonymous with poison. And it's also the 19th day since Guy Parmelin became president of Switzerland. So we have SS, and aside from being found in the Nazi Germany lore of SS, the Gestapo, it is the de facto name of CIA headquarters in Geneva is ISIS or SS, and so it's virtually 100% certain that the CIA is going to stage a DEFCON level event, an act of war, or spawn a second global biological pandemic, or assassinate a U.S. president on this particular numerology. So firstly, I'm just going to list in escalating order of the events that are likely planned this evening during the live broadcast of the aforementioned college football championship game in the United States on ESPN, which is going to be streamed globally. So there's likely going to be upwards of 1 billion people tuning into this game. Firstly, some sort of direct energy related weapon attack is expected, targeting one or more players during the game, likely injuring Achilles injuries, ACL, MCL, concussions, possibly even paralyzation or death. And the most likely targets are Indiana Hoosiers quarterback Fernando Mendoza, as well as Miami Hurricanes quarterback Carson Beck. Secondly, the CIA is planning some sort of a riot attack. This game is coincidentally being held at the University of Miami's home stadium, which is Hard Rock Cafe in Miami, Florida, Miami Gardens, Florida, and the University of Miami campus is basically adjacent to this. So in the event that Miami loses, which is expected, because they're playing the best team in the country, the Indiana Hoosiers, it's highly likely that some sort of mass riot will ensue in the aftermath of a loss, especially if it's a fourth quarter loss, possibly in the aftermath of a horrific call by the referees. Thirdly is a foreign cyber attack targeting the electrical grid of the United States, likely being scapegoated onto Russia, China, or Iran, likely resulting in a prolonged or permanent blackout. Fourth is some sort of ICBM-related strike, possibly targeting Atlanta, Memphis, or Charlotte. There's also the possibility of some sort of EMP-related, electromagnetic pulse-related event over the United States, which result in a prolonged electrical blackout. Number 5 is a Russian sub-based implosion-related event. We all remember the implosion of the Titan sub in the Atlantic Ocean near the site of Titanic a couple years ago. So some sort of an event off the coast of Cuba, which results in some sort of radioactive tsunami targeting Miami, Florida. Just in the last couple of years, there's been multiple fleets of Russian vessels which have docked in Havana, and so some sort of, including a submarine, so some sort of Russian submarine Red October-like event is expected. Six is some sort of zombie apocalypse. So, for those of you that are unaware, there's such a thing called Havana syndrome. This is some sort of direct energy weapon that the Russians have in Cuba that is allegedly making uh, politicians and statesmen sick in Miami, and so this weapon could be turned on and target the stadium in question, Hard Rock Cafe, likely resulting in some sort of a zombie apocalypse. Number seven is an ambush targeting U.S. President Donald J. Trump while he is en route from his Mar-a-Lago estate in West Palm Beach, Florida, to Miami Gardens. He's likely going to be flying on Marine One, but once there at the stadium, some sort of an attack is expected. In the aftermath of the assassination of Renee Good in Minneapolis, Wisconsin, this was a lesbian woman with a lesbian lover, and so some sort of BLM LGBTQ revenge assassination targeting the president is expected. There was also an alleged theft of FBI credentials and FBI an FBI car was broken into in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and so they'll likely claim that this person was able to gain access into the security perimeter of Hard Rock Stadium in order to execute this assassination. I have published reports for this previously, but in this particular case, it's highly likely that Trump, while at the game, will receive some sort of a message of some sort of international event where he has to leave the game prematurely, as he has done previously in the past, and he will likely exit the game, and it is likely at that point in time that the Israeli Mossad will ambush Trump, and that some sort of an assassination event will transpire. He will likely be kidnapped and taken to a black site and tortured, but a video will be released, possibly AI, deepfake generated, and this will show this black woman, black lesbian, shooting Trump, and this is on Martin Luther King Day, and this is designed to specifically to spark a second American Civil War. There's also the possibility that the CIA would stage some sort of an Iranian sniper related event. Just a few weeks ago, a sniper's nest was discovered outside of Palm Beach International Airport, where Trump departs to and from Washington. And so this may transpire during the live broadcast of the game, possibly while in the box seat watching the game, or possibly while coming to the stadium or leaving the stadium. And the most likely scenario, or the biggest event that is likely planned for this evening of January 19th of 2026, is that the CIA stages, as part of some sort of Russian revenge attack, some sort of blackjack, some sort of stealth Russian bomber-related suicide bombing attacks targeting Merritt Island, Florida, which is home to the JFK Space Center, where they just erected the Artemis II that's allegedly going to the moon, and or the city of Miami, and or the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. So a future scenario in which they execute some sort of nuclear 9/11 and then subsequently blame or frame Russia for it as pretext for World War III is expected. This is likely going to be executed on the ground by the Israeli Mossad and then subsequently blamed on Russia as pretext for World War III. Last but not least, in the aftermath, if President Trump safely attends the game and is not harmed in any form or fashion, he will have to travel back to Washington, D.C. on the evening of January 19th of 2026. And it is highly likely, virtually certain, that the CIA will target Trump, possibly while in Marine One, flying from Hard Rock Stadium to West Palm Beach, Florida, to the airport, Palm Beach International Airport, and then he will fly from Palm Beach International Airport on Air Force One to Joint Base Andrews in Frederick County, Maryland. And this is during this trip, or from flying from Joint Andrews Base to the White House via Marine One, that Trump would be targeted for some sort of an assassination event. You'll recall back on January 29th of 2025, the CIA staged a crash between a United Airlines flight and a Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac River outside of the White House in Washington, D.C., while executing a continuity of government military exercise. And so if Trump is not assassinated at the game, it's virtually certain that he would be targeted prior to attending the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. So as I previously stated in one of my last videos, Trump is going to be neutralized in some form or fashion prior to appearing on the ground at the Davos summit, which is basically a de facto CIA conference where Geneva sends their representatives to give all their minions, their billionaire minions, their politicians, their heads of state, they're basically the next year in advance about what the script is, essentially the global script. And so, like I said in my last video, Trump will be neutralized in some form or fashion prior to arriving in Switzerland. And because he is attending the game on the evening of January 19th, he will likely not arrive in Switzerland until the 20th for this conference. So, obviously, some sort of major event is going to be executed this evening on the SS numerology of Switzerland. And of course, you have to remember that SS, 19 plus 19 equals 38, and that's CH, that's Confederation Helvetica. That is the official name of Switzerland in Latin. And so when you go to Europe, you always see the CH on the back of the cars. Those are all the cars from Switzerland. That's 38, and that's 19 plus 19. And that is the numerology that we're dealing with this evening, the 19th day of the month, plus the 19th day that the Swiss president has been in office. And of course, the Swiss president presides over Geneva, which is home to the CIA, and they're about to execute a decapitation strike of the United States, either targeting her president or targeting one of its biggest states, Florida, with multiple nuclear strikes. So obviously, if any of the aforementioned events come to fruition in reality, I would kindly ask you to download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media.